So, of course, coming up later this year is going to be Dana White's Contender Series 2024, and I have made videos for every single weight class on fighters that I think should be on the Contender Series this year. And now I've made it all the way to the heavyweights, and if you can believe it, for the first time ever, I actually have a pretty decent heavyweight list. And I don't know if it's something in the air, but all of a sudden, heavyweight prospects have come out of absolutely nowhere. And I've actually got quite a few of them from all around the world. And I feel like Dana White's Contender Series, if they wanted to, which in my opinion they probably should, they could put a lot of heavyweights on the show. Now, I understand a lot of people aren't really the biggest fans of heavyweights because they can put on pretty boring fights, but they can give us some of the best fights. And Dana White loves heavyweights, and the UFC's heavyweight division is very shallow. In fact, I think they only have about 30 fighters on the heavyweight roster, and I think that they would probably benefit from having some more. So, of course, as usual, I'm just going to start off with fighters that I think should return, and then we're going to get into these heavyweight prospects. Mario Piazon, he's 26 years old, 5'9" at heavyweight. He did beat Alexander Soldatkin last year, somewhat controversially, I guess, with that illegal knee there. It was a boring fight, but he's 26 years old, from Brazil, a decent heavyweight wrestler. I know he's pretty boring, but I also have his opponent, Soldatkin, coming back because Soldatkin's a really good striker for heavyweight. He's got no gas tank and no takedown defense whatsoever, but I do just have him on here, to be honest, because I think he is going to be a pretty fun guy if he can make it to the UFC. Now let's get into the heavyweight prospects. Bailey Schaufelfelder is one of the smaller guys for heavyweight, but he just beat Greg Velasco, and Greg Velasco is a guy that was on the Contender Series last year, and I do feel like if Greg Velasco wins a couple more fights, you'll probably see him on the Contender Series in 2025, or in the UFC. But Bailey Schoenfelder beat him in the second round, and before that, hadn't really beaten the best guys, but had finished all of these guys, and it is heavyweight. There really isn't that much depth in the weight class, but Bailey Schoenfelder, I think, is a good prospect to look out for. Navajo Sterling is a guy that trains out of City Kickboxing, and I know he is only 2-0, but he is potentially going to be 3-0 soon. Has a kickboxing career, of course, as you would kind of expect with a City Kickboxing guy. Beat the guy making his debut by decision. And then he knocked out Calvin Fitiel, who was a guy that Junior Tuffer has fought in the past. Now another fight coming up. Being City Kickboxing, being a heavyweight as well. I think that you probably could see Navajo Sterling on the Contender Series. Rafael Sequeira is a heavyweight that has just come out of absolutely nowhere for me. I had no idea who he was until about a month ago, and he's got another fight booked, and he could be 11-0 at heavyweight, which would probably make him one of the best heavyweight prospects not signed to a major promotion in the world, or especially one of the ones with the best record. I mean, this guy could be 11-0 if he makes his Dana White's Contender Series appearance. Has beaten some decent guys, seems to be a grappler for the most part. Haven't really heard of any of the guys that he's beaten, but as I said, it's heavyweight, and I've never really had comprehensive lists of really good heavyweight prospects. Pavel Delidko is honestly a guy that I only really know about because he has fought in the past. A guy that's in the UFC, Shamil Gaziev, that's right, Shamil Gaziev, everybody's favorite heavyweight. He lost to him, but to be honest, I know Shamil lost a main event and he was a little bit embarrassed. Shamil Gaziev's a really good heavyweight fighter, man, and Pavel Delidko did lose to him, but since then, he's honestly just beating all of the good heavyweight prospects. I mean, this guy is single-handedly taking them all out, and he's got another fight booked as well against heavyweight Valdrin Istrefi, and honestly, even if Valdrin Istrefi won this fight, you could probably put him on there as well. But Pavel Delidko is the guy that I've got my eye on. I'm going to admit a major mistake here. Mervyn Miller shouldn't be at heavyweight. He should be at light heavyweight. But I'll talk about him anyway. He's 5'9" at light heavyweight. He's fun. 8-0 as an amateur. 5-0. And he beat Corey Mogenberg, who fought for Bellator. Twice. Anyway, Mervyn Miller, I do apologize. That was a mistake by me. I put him in the wrong weight class in my Google Notes app, or Samsung Notes, or whatever I'd call it. Let's move on. Rogers Souza, 15-7, 34 years old, just beat the 19-2 Sergey Diakonov. Do I really need to say much more than that? He did lose to Sergey Karatonov, who main evented an Eagle FC card once. He has lost to Alexander Soldatkin as well. Dude, all of these guys that he's lost to are really good. Sergey Belostini's really good in PFL. Kirill Kornilov is really, really good. Alekhan Vakayev is a guy I've heard of. He lost to Cyril Gunn. The point is, every time this guy has fought someone really, really good, he's lost. But he's beating everybody else, and he just beat a 19-2 opponent. 34 years old. I mean, not even too old for a heavyweight. The UFC needs heavyweights. The UFC needs Roger Sosa. Lucas Camacho is 6-0 at heavyweight from Brazil as himself. Once again, kind of come out of nowhere. Hadn't fought for 4 years, and then he beat a 4-0 guy and a 4-1 guy in LFA. Is potentially 7-0 if he won this fight against Felipe Aloi. If anyone knows the result, contact Tapology, but seems like no one knows about their one. Lucas Camacho is a guy here. Brando Pericic is the next one, and he fights out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand. He's 1-0 now, but if everything goes to what I'm assuming is City Kickboxing's grand plan, he could potentially be 3-0 soon, because he's going to be taking on this guy called Calvin Fitiel, who is the guy that has fought Junior Taffa in the past, and Navajo Sterling now. If Brando Pericic beats him, he could be 2-0. And then if he goes out there and beats Randall Raymond, who is actually a guy that has been winning a lot of fights over in Australia and New Zealand recently, if he can beat him, then maybe Brando Pericic could be able to make something happen. This is going to be a fun event as well, by the way, because I live in New Zealand, of course, and they're putting on this event in New Zealand. Why was Moses Afoa not on my list? And then the legend Mike Mathief is going to be returning. This is going to be a fun card. It's going to be a pay-per-view, though, but I think it'll be fun anyway. Let's move on. Mario Pinto is the next guy to talk about, and this guy is probably one of the better... Well, he is. He is one of the best prospects at heavyweight right now. He's from Portugal, and he just won the Levels Fight League tournament, which I believe was a one-night tournament. Yes, at the start of last year. Won the first fight in 98 seconds. Won the next decision, and then he beat another guy to win 3 fights in a row in one night. And then after that, I believe he's just been defending his belt at Levels Fight League. He beat the former Bellator fighter, Kasim Araz, as well. Mario Pinto, if the UFC doesn't sign this guy or it doesn't put him on the Contender Series, I think they are making a big mistake. Honestly, I feel like you might just match up Mario Pinto with, like, Mario Piazon. Battle of the Marios. Sorry, that was really bad. Hugo Cunha. I mean, once again, one of the better heavyweight prospects not signed to a major league. And he's fighting, he's doing good things for the LFA. He did lose to Dustin Johnson in a fight which he gassed out really badly, but he beat Eduardo Neves, who's been on the Contender Series twice, beat an experienced opponent there, beat a bunch of guys earlier on in his career. I feel like he's just kind of waiting for an opportunity on the Contender Series, and I think he's going to get it, or I hope he gets it anyway. Talason Teixeira is 5-0 at heavyweight. He's 6'8". This guy is very tall, as you can imagine. He's a little bit taller than me. He's a lot taller than me. But anyway, he's dominating everyone he's fought. Once again, he's not really going to be fighting the best guy. 2-1 opponent next. If he beats him... Wait. Is he going to beat brothers? Arto Hunseca? These guys look similar. Is this guy going to take on 2 brothers? I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, there's a chance this is at 205 as well, and I'm going to look like a silly boy. No, he fights at heavyweight. Let's go. 5-0, potentially 6-0. Jose Augusto. For some reason, a fighter, I recognize his face, but I don't know where from. Is it because he fought? Yeah, he fought for Bellator, that's right. Honestly, because he just beat Richard Jacoby, and he does have a Bellator background and a few wins in Bellator, probably doesn't need to go through the Contender Series, but if you wanted to bolster his record just a little bit, you probably could put him on there. Jose Augusto, 32 years old, not signed to Bellator anymore, trains with the Pitbull brothers, kind of makes sense to me. Myung Hwan Kim. Would it be a Artem MMA Contender Series video without talking about a South Korean prospect? I didn't have a middleweight, but I've had one for every single other weight class. Myung Hwan Kim, 7-1, calls himself the Mammoth, which is kind of funny, I guess. Once again, just kind of beating all of the guys at South Korea that are heavyweight size. He did lose to G1 Kang, but G1 Kang is kind of like a staple of One Championship's heavyweight division. So I guess there's not really too much shame in losing to him. But yeah, Myung Hwan Kim. He would be kind of fun in the UFC. I mean, a South Korean heavyweight. I don't know if they've ever had an Asian heavyweight in UFC history, aside from the guys from Russia. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below about that. I'm trying to think if they had any Japanese heavyweights way back in the day, like one of the Japanese wrestlers. I don't know if they did. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about that? I've never had such a comprehensive heavyweight list before, so that was kind of fun to compile. Hopefully, we see more heavyweights on the Contender Series. I do expect to see a lot of them. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.